Before we start today's lesson, Year 5, I want to share with you a quiz over on the Quiz Shed website. So if you use your Spelling Shed or Math Shed login, it's the same thing. You can have a go at a space quiz that we've set up. And once you've had a go at that, then come back to the video and then we will carry on with today's writing lesson. Good luck with the quiz. Good morning, Year 5. Thank you for those that have sent me your first paragraph draft yesterday. Today we're going to move on to looking at Tim's time on the International Space Station in a little bit more detail. Very much continuing the skills we looked at yesterday, turning our notes into our first draft paragraph. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, for my draft for the second paragraph, these are very much shortened versions of my notes that I picked up from Tim's interview. He mentioned the day often starts around 6:30. The International Space Station is basically a laboratory where they carry out science research, and they also do some exploration. He talked about finding out about the long-term impact of space on the human body. He mentioned radiation, and it's like 8 chest x-rays a day, which is quite severe. But he mentioned sort of more of a funny side of things about his colleague Scott Kelly had somehow brought a gorilla suit on board, and then he went on to talk about the spacewalk. Now there's a lot in there. If we were to use all of that, our middle paragraph would be significantly bigger than the others. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick 3 of those, and then I'm going to turn them into my draft. So I want to pick ones that I feel most confident about expanding upon. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with the exploration, talking and mention what Tim said about the effects on the human body. I think I want to mention the gorilla suit. I may have to use my imagination a little bit on there because he didn't go into too much detail, and I think he can't talk about someone's experience in space without going on to talk about the spacewalk. So I've picked 3. I'd like you to do the same first. Okay, like yesterday, just want to turn these notes into a paragraph that flows, that sequences the ideas. It can be quite simple at this point because, as I said, it's a draft, and then later on we will then start to add some of our Year 5 writing features. So to begin with, I want to talk about the exploration. Tim said that they were finding out about the long-term impact of space on the human body. Now I want to write that as Tim is speaking. So I'm going to imagine it's a day in particular. So that morning, my job was to research the long-term impact of space on the human body. I wanted to know how it would alter my bone strength, aging, and my skin. I'm thinking I could probably need to add some thoughts and feelings. My curiosity was looking at, no, not sure. Let me think about that again. My curiosity was getting the better of me at this point. Now, I'm not sure about that sentence at the moment, Year 5. I might edit that later on. Just getting ideas down into my paragraph. So, that morning, my job was to research the long-term impact of space on the human body. I wanted to know how it altered my bone strength, aging, and my skin. My curiosity was getting the better of me at this point. I feel like that second sentence in the middle needs a little bit more, but for now, I've got the idea down. Now, then I mentioned the gorilla suit. Later on, Scott Kelly floated past in a gorilla suit typing. I could not believe it. So it's showing that he's a little bit surprised. Again, I'm going to improve that later on. I could not believe it. And then the next bit. The rest of the day was what I had been looking forward to the most. The spacewalk. So he mentioned it lasted 6 to 8 hours. It was going into like a calm, serene environment. So I'm going to add that in. So the rest of the day was what I had been looking forward to the most, the spacewalk. It lasted nearly 8 hours. When I stepped out, it felt like a calm and serene environment. Excuse my typing there. There we go. Right, so I've put the notes into sentences. Not perfect yet, but it's a starting point. So I'm just going to read that back. That morning, my job was to research the long-term impact of space on the human body. I wanted to know how it would alter my bone strength, aging, and my skin. My curiosity was getting the better of me at this point. Later on, Scott Kelly floated past in a gorilla suit. I could not believe it. I may add a little bit more to that part later on. And then it says, the rest of the day was what I'd been looking forward to the most, the spacewalk. It lasted nearly 8 hours. When I stepped out, it felt like a calm and serene environment. Again, I can probably add some more description and how Tim was feeling at that moment later on. But there is my draft that I can now build upon next time. Okay, Year 5. So let's get your second paragraph draft completed today. I'm looking for first person again. I'm looking for it to be in the past tense, and I'm looking to see how you're taking your notes and expanding them into complete sentences. That is what we need to achieve today. Send them in by the Year 5 email address, and I'll look forward to do some shout outs with them, and then I'll put the screen on the end in a second that you can pause on for our steps to success.